So the other day I made $3,000 in just 12 hours, and I want to share with you how it happened. Because if you're someone that no matter how hard you work and you're trying to get to a new income level, something keeps stopping you, this video is going to explain to you exactly why. Because the reason I made that amount of money in such a short time had nothing to do with how hard I worked or a new type of strategy I learned. It actually had to do with an internal shift. And that internal shift, once you understand what it is, you're gonna finally understand why every single time you're getting towards your goal, something's gonna keep pulling you back. There's always something that gets in the way when you're about to break to your next level. Because here's what nobody tells you about making more money. You don't have an income problem. You have a nervous system problem. And today I'm gonna be showing you the exact framework I use to break my income ceiling so you can use it too. So there's a phenomenon called the upper limit problem, and it's basically how everybody has an internal thermostat, a set point where a zone of income or success feels normal for our nervous system. Now, our body will do whatever it takes for us to stay in that zone of what feels normal. So think of it like a body temperature. When you're getting too cold, you shiver to warm you up, and then when you get too hot, you start sweating to cool yourself down. Your nervous system does the exact same thing with money. So the moment you start pushing past your set point, whether that is a new opportunity coming your way, a trade is going really well, you're making a little bit more money than usual, your nervous system reads that as a threat, not a reward, a threat. So it starts activating, and that's when you start feeling a little bit anxious, restless. You suddenly feel like you don't deserve it. And then comes the behaviors. You start randomly picking up a fight with your partner, or you start randomly getting sick, or just something external starts sabotaging your growth of what you finally are achieving your goal. And from the outside, it might look like bad luck, it might be like bad timing, or you just weren't ready. But in fact, it wasn't any of that. It was just your internal thermostat doing its job. It's protecting you to stay where you feel normal. And I've been stuck in this whole thermostat for the last 5 years, and I didn't even know that I didn't even realize it. Now, just to give you context, a few years ago, I was a waitress making $1,000 a month. And when I got into investing, I would start investing a couple $1,000s, and I would always make a couple hundred in profit. For 5 years, I've always been staying at that level. And every time I got closer to my goal of getting extra money and making more money, I would find a way to self-sabotage. I would try to find an excuse and think, oh, maybe this is too risky. Maybe this isn't the right time. Or I would get sick. There's some external issue that would always stop me from reaching a new level. Now, at that time, I thought I was doing something responsible and safe, but I realized it was my nervous system doing exactly what it was supposed to do, keeping me exactly where I felt safe. So what actually changed for me? How did I get from hundreds to thousands in profit in such a short period of time? Well, it started with setting a very, very big goal that I felt extremely uncomfortable to say out loud. I set a goal of making $20,000 a month with swing trading. Now, at that time, I was like, this is gonna be really, really hard. I don't even know how I do it. But then I was just breaking down the numbers. If I wanted to make $20,000 a month, I would have to take 4 trades where I make $5,000 in profit. Now, normally I make around 30% in average profit every single month with the type of trades I go for. I usually go for a little bit more aggressive, but 30% was always achievable. So when I thought about how much money do I have to invest to make $5,000 with 30% profit, it came down to investing $17,000. Now, when I was about to place the trade, I am telling you, I felt so nervous. My hands were sweating. I started having difficulty breathing, and I started being really self-aware and noticing that my body was literally trying to protect me from placing such a big trade, which I have never done before. Now, before I actually walk you through the framework of how I was gonna overcome that, if you're actually watching this and you don't just want the mindset advice and you actually wanna know the method that helped me find the right trades and you actually want to learn how to get started with swing trading, I have a link in the description below of the training of how you can learn to get started. So let me walk you through the exact framework that's going to help you break your income ceiling. And by the way, this has nothing to do with investing. This could also apply to your salary, to your business, the type of rates you give to your clients, almost anything where you keep seeing that you're hitting the same invisible wall. So step one is recognize that you have a set point. Go back into the last 3 years of your income and notice if you've been hovering around the same range. Ask yourself, have opportunities came along and somehow they didn't work out? And then also ask yourself honestly, what number of a monthly income feels realistic to you and what number feels too much or feels a bit greedy? Because that number is going to be your internal thermostat, keeping you at a ceiling. Now, step two is to identify your upper limit triggers. What happens right when things are just about to go well? Do you suddenly get sick? Do you start picking up a fight? Or convince yourself that you got too lucky and you don't feel like you deserve it? Or you've been procrastinating on something exactly when it is working? Because these are not coincidences, these are patterns. And make sure you write them down, because once you write these things down, you start taking more control and you start noticing them that they no longer have power over you once you are aware. Step three is find the belief under the trigger. So every thermostat runs a story, and that story usually sounds like, oh, if I make more money, I'm gonna lose the people I love. If I make more money, it's too selfish, or the people around me are gonna be jealous, and my family doesn't know how to make that type of money, so I shouldn't deserve it. So any belief comes from an internal narrative that we've been taught since we were children. Most of the time, it's our parents that are just saying it when we're super young, and we're too young to even decide that it is our own belief, so we subconsciously just believe those things. So once you identify those internal beliefs, then you become aware of them, and that leads on to step four. Step four is actually building a plan. So this is where most people skip ahead because they think, oh, this is my desire, I want to make $20,000 a month, however much, but that's not a plan. Wanting more is not actually going to get you there. What you do need is a plan. So you need to write a specific number down every single month. You need to write a specific deadline and a method. That's going to be your plan. So in my case, writing down how many trades I have to take in order to make $20,000 a month with swing trading, and what type of stocks I was going to pick, how often I was going to buy and sell, and where I'm going to, all of the details that I'm gonna not talk about in this video, but basically you need a plan, because studies have shown, and actually science shows, that when you do have a plan, you're 50% more likely to actually achieve that goal. So having a plan is extremely powerful. Step five is to expand your identity before the money arrives. Or the easy way of saying it is fake it till you make it. Start becoming the person that already has that goal, that has already achieved that goal, because that is the law of attraction. If your sense of self doesn't grow to match your goal, when the money actually comes, you feel like you don't deserve it, and you will self-sabotage, do something, you might think it's luck, you might start spending excessively, you just will do something that will push the money away. So you have to start becoming the type of person that feels like they already deserve it. They feel like it's already normal to earn it. So that means how you talk about your work, how you charge your clients, what you say yes and no to, or how you show up when the money does come on the table. So it really is like owning yourself up, matching that energy, matching that sense of self before the money comes. Because when the money comes, you have to be ready. If you are not aligned with that frequency, you're gonna self-sabotage, and it's just not gonna match. You're not gonna have the container to hold that amount of money, and you just feel like you won't be ready. Now, step 6 is notice the pullback in real time and don't act on it. So when you do receive more money than usual And when good things happen, like you place a very big trade, or you have a new client that's really, really like ready, or you have a promotion, your nervous system is start going to go on fire. You're gonna start feeling nervous. You're gonna start feeling anxious. What I want you to do is notice it and just observe it. Let the emotions go through. Emotions is just another way of saying energy is in motion. So let the energy pass through you, but don't act on it. Just observe it. And step 7 is integrate and normalizing it. Because once that happens and you're not acting on the trigger and you're just observing it, the next time it happens and you have a second opportunity where you do get another client or you make another trade, I want you to normalize it. Which means just because you do it once doesn't mean it's enough. The work isn't done. You have to keep doing it until it feels boring, because that's when your internal thermostat regulates it as normal. So tell people about it, live inside that. Is keep making those trades or keep making those business decisions again and again and again until it no longer feels exciting. That's when your internal thermostat has been regulated, and your goal is just to treat it like a normal Tuesday. Oh, I made $20,000 this month. That's so normal. That's so average for me. Don't make it feel exciting. As soon as it's exciting, you just got to keep making the same decisions. Keep pushing yourself until it feels normal. At the end of the day, if you want to break your income ceiling, it has nothing to do with learning a new strategy. It has nothing to do with working harder. It is an internal state of mind. It is a mindset, it is psychology, and it is just regulating your nervous system. I went from being a waitress making $1,000 to now having 7 figures in my business, and also placing very big trades and making 6 figures swing trading, which I would never have believed I would be able to do. So this is constantly pushing yourself and making your internal thermostat reach a higher ceiling. So start day by day. This change doesn't happen overnight. Start with step 1. Look at the last 3 years and see if you've been really staying at the same income level. Start doing something that doesn't feel comfortable with. If this video has helped you, share it with someone that you believe who works extremely hard and cannot figure why they can't seem to get past their income level, because this is going to be the most useful thing that you're going to do this year, and for your friend as well. And if you want to go deeper into this, you can work with me one-on-one in the link in the description below. You can fill in the form and apply to learn how to work with me, because I work with entrepreneurs and 6-figure earners that want to break their income ceiling through hypnosis and through real business strategies. So we're combining what we're learning in this video as well with real marketing and business strategies to take your business to the next level. So the link is in the description below. And until then, I'll see you next time. If you really enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.